Hi students, continuation with the fourth module. The topic is NFS network file system. Let's see here example as Sun network file system. Network file system in the sense how to mount a file which is remotely located to user directory. For example, you imagine like this. There will be servers, and in many of the regions the server can be located in any part, like if you take Google server, that will be located in many of the regions, and in 8 regions it has been located. If you want to mount any of the file located in Google server to your own drive, how it helps, how it works, that is what we are going to see. So implementation and specification of a software system for accessing remote files across your network connectivity, either through LAN or WAN. That is what network file system provides us. And the implementation part of the Solaris and Sun OS is running on Sun workstations using UDP, which mean user datagram protocol, or internet protocol, and even Ethernet. Why they are using UDP? In the sense it is connectionless approach. If they use TCP, then it is connection oriented protocol, where it will be applying three-way handshake method. So it has to connect to the from the client to the server, and it has to acknowledge, then only it will be receiving the data. Whereas if they use UDP, it is connectionless approach. That is why UDP has been used. And NFS in the sense it is interconnected workstations viewed as a set of independent machines. It is not meant that it should be related. Servers can be located anywhere, and it can be of independent machine. Those things will be interconnected to share the information in a transparent way. And remote directory, how it is transferring its image, or it transferring its file. In the sense, remote directory will be mounted over to the local file system directory, which mean to the client. So server will be there, that server directory will be mounted to the user directory. The mounted directory will be looking like integral subtree of the local file system. How? In the sense, you could see in the picture. Listen here, first thing is for user, and user will be having their local directory initially. And next two pictures shows you that server 1 and server 2, where there also users will be there, and they will be having some directories. It can be shared directory, or it can be some cascading file directories. So these things will be located in the server. And when you mount it, look at this picture. From the server, the directory has been mounted to the user. So in S1 and S2 there are some directories that has been located in the servers. When you mount it, it will be taken to the user directories. So user will be having initially the local directory, and the directories from the server is mounted to the user local directory. This is how the mounting takes place using network file system. So server will be having all the directories. Whenever user is requesting some of the files from the directory, then in a virtual way network file system through LAN or WAN, it will mount the server located in that mount the directory located in the servers to the user part. So that is what they have given here in the description. The mounted directory will be looking like an integral subtree of the local file system, replacing the subtree descending from the local directory. So whenever you are requesting some of the files, that directory will be mounted from the server to the local directory in an integral subtree way. And specification of the remote directory for mount operation is not transparent, because we don't know how it happens. Through LAN or WAN it will be happening. The only thing it has required is we have to give the name for the remote directory, and files in the remote directory can then be accessed in a transparent manner. Once the file has been mounted, then we can do whatever the actions we are in need of. And if the files have been restricted from edit access, then we can't do it. If the file is provided with read and write mode, then we can do whatever the action we are in need of. You can take any example, like if you are downloading a textbook ebook from any of the server, then if it has been restricted with write access, you can only do the read action. If it has been in editable mode, then you can do any of the changes to that file. So it is subject to the access right accreditation. And NFS is designed to operate in an heterogeneous environment. As you know, whatever the files you need in which platform you are working with, you can directly download from the server. It won't restrict you that this specification is needed or this OS is needed. So those restriction is not there, because it is built up with heterogeneous environment, so that it will be working with different OS, different machines, and even the different network architectures it will support. This independence is achieved through remote procedure call primitives, RPC method. So whenever you are requesting something, remote procedure call will be will be taken to that server machine, and through that it will be taking the data again through RPC, and it will be giving back to the client. It will be using RPC, and certain architectures will be using XDR protocol, which means external data representation protocol. And this NFS specification distinguishes the service provided by mount mechanism and actual remote file access service, which mean whenever I will show you the architecture, then you will get some idea. It will be differentiating whatever the services that mount provides. If you mount a file system, or if you have direct access to that remote file, then the process will be different. Then you can do all the action. So this diagram already we have seen. User will be having user and their own directory, and server will be there with shared files in certain directories. And if you mount it, then from the server the directory will be mounted to the user directory. For that, it uses NFS mount protocol for mounting purpose. What mount protocol does is, it will be initially setting up some logical connection between client and the server. It won't be using any of the bus interfaces. Instead, it will be using some logical connectivity between server and the client. And what are the operation it includes, in the sense, first we have to name a directory which we are going to mount it, and then the mount request will be mapped to remote procedure call, which will be forwarding to the server. So whenever you request, immediately remote procedure call will be invoked. It will pass the request to the server, and it will export the list of files which have been available in that server machine, and which and all the files you need, you can export it from the server machine to the client machine. And for that, mount will be providing permission for you, and follow the mount request. It will confirm that whatever the export list it has, and server returns a file handle and key for further access. If it is any of the software you are downloading, for installing the software or for using the software, it will be providing a key for further access. And it will be having file handle, which will have the identifier and the number of number of extensions you can made, and number of exports you did. All those things will be loaded in file handle for further access or for further reference. The mount operation changes only the user view, which means you have downloaded a ebook and you have did some editing in that. In that way, the changes will be reflecting only in the user view, but whereas the original document, what it is present in the server end, that won't get affected anyway. So whatever the files you are downloading from the server end to the client end, or whatever the files you are mounting from that server end to the client end, if you do any of the changes, that will be reflected only in the user mode and not in the server end. And NFS uses other protocols mainly for file sharing, and whatever the file system it follows, for that this protocol helps it. What are the things that NFS protocol provides, in the sense, it has some set of remote procedure calls, that is RPC, for doing remote file operation. What are the things it supports, in the sense, one is you can search a file within a directory. Whatever the files it has, that you can search in an easier way using NFS protocol. And next thing is, you can read a set of directory entries. What are the directory entries? It is there that you can read, and you can manipulate the links and directories present in the server, and you can access the file attributes. What are the contents of the file, what is the file identifier, where it has been located, all those things you can access. And finally, you can do read as well as write. If the access permission have been provided, you can write the file as well. So NFS servers are stateless, which mean it will be varying from it won't be a static one, it is a dynamic one, and each request has provided a full set of arguments. NFS version 4 is available with very different, and it is a stateful approach, and modified data can be committed to the server disk before the results are returned to the client, which mean that whenever you do some of the changes, that will be reflected in that client end. And NFS protocol does not provide concurrency control mechanism, which means that any request you can do from the server and you can do it, and there won't be any concurrency control, so that there is a possibility for concurrency to occur. If multiple users are trying to access the same server at the same time, then there is a possibility for server slowdown. So that is there, and this is the functionality of NFS protocol. Next, let's see how the NFS architecture is and what the architecture does. And this is the picture of NFS architecture. You could see the two ends, one is client and another one is server. First, let's look at the client. Client will be having system call interfaces and virtual file system interface. So you have your own directory, and if you need any of the data from the server, it can be of any file system. For that, virtual file system interface helps. So whenever you are downloading requesting for a file system of Unix, then Unix file system interface will be there, that will retrieve the data from the disk. And if you are requesting from for any of the file system to be mounted from the server, then NFS client will be there, network file system client, that will invoke the data through remote procedure call or extension data representation. Through that, your network will be enabled like LAN or WAN. It will take your request again through RPC to the network file system server, and from there virtual file system interface will get the Unix file system from the disk which has been remotely located in the server. And this is how the network file system architecture works. It is connecting client to the server to get any of that directories or any of the files that to work remotely. So it is a three major layer architecture of NFS. So first is Unix file system interface, that will be helpful for open, read, write and close the calls and file descriptors. Then comes virtual file system layer, which will be helping to distinguish the local files from the remote ones, and also it will look after what are the file systems or what are the types of file system we are going to access. It will activate the file system specific operations to handle all the local requests and according to their file system types, and it calls NFS protocol procedure for any of the remote requests. And then comes finally NFS service layer, that is the bottom layer of the architecture, which implements the NFS protocol. What are the advantages we have seen, right? We can search, we can do read, write, or we can manipulate the links and directories. All those operations we can do in the bottom layer, that is NFS service layer. And finally NFS path name translation, which mean whenever you have some NFS file, that path will be translated from the server to the client. So it will break up the path into component names and perform separate NFS lookup, which mean where it has been stored and from which directory you are picking up that particular file and where it has to be stored in local directory. Everything will be looked up and it will maintain that remote file directory names in virtual nodes. This will be done with the help of NFS path name translation. And what are the things we can do in NFS as a remote operation? So it is like one-to-one correspondence, regular Unix system calls and remote procedure calls will be helping to do all the remote operations except opening and closing files. and it will be doing remote services by it will employ buffering and caching techniques to do the performance of any of the network file system. And it supports with file block cache, which means when a file is open and kernel will check whether with the remote server whether to fetch or revalidate any of the cache attributes, because it will provide you a faster access. If it is in virtual memory and if it is in disk, then it will take time to do the execution, whereas it will be provided with file block cache. So whenever you are executing remote file, kernel will check whether all the data is available or it has to be updated. If it has to be updated, then it will update it and it will make ready for execution. And it also has file attribute cache, which will be updated whenever a new attribute for that particular file arrives from the server. Even you could see that if you are using any of the application which has been located remotely in the server, any cloud application you can take like Google Docs or Google Sheet, we are not storing it in our personal device. It is remotely located in the server. Whenever a new version comes or whenever a new feature is added to it, it will be automatically updated from the server to our device. So clients do not free delete write blocks until the server confirms the data. So whenever we are writing or whenever we are updating the things, we have to confirm that it has been updated in the server end also. If it is only read, then it can be done only in the server end. But if we are doing any of the changes in that block of data in disk, that should be updated in the server as well. This is the example of file system WAFL file, which means network appliance filers. It is a distributed file system appliance. WAFL means write anywhere file layout, which means you can do the changes anywhere that has been remotely located. Servers up like NFS, CIFS, STP, HTTP, FTP can be used for doing this remote file operation, and it will be using random IO and write also optimized. And whenever you have a file system, you can do the modifications remotely. This is the diagram for it. We will be having root node, and from the root node in node file will be there, where it can be freely block map, and you can do the file in any of the changes in the file system. It is like tree structure, what we have seen for file mounting, the same thing. So somewhere it will be located, and from the user end it will be mounted, and it will be done with the changes. Let's see some of the example what they have did. And root node, which consists of blocks A, B, C, D, E. And when you take a new snapshot of it, which means that without changing any of the blocks that has been mounted. So in the new snapshot you could see all those things are linked together. And after creating a new snapshot, if any update has been changed, which means D has been changed, D has been updated, and once D has been updated, that has to be updated with root node also. That is what here they have meant. So initially root node and then blocks of subnodes are there, and from that a new snapshot has been mounted, and if any changes have been happened with any of the block, that should be updated. That is what about network file systems. So we have seen network file system, which covers what is network file system and what is the purpose of it, how a file system can be mounted from server to the user, and how the mounting has been happened. And for that NFS mount protocol will be used. What is the functionality of NFS mount protocol, what is the functionality of NFS protocol, then comes what is the layered architecture of NFS, what are the three main layers are there, what is the functionality of it, then how the path translation gets happen, what are the operations that NFS will do for remote files, and an example. These are the things which has been there in network file system. Thank you.